Hi everybody, this is Rhys Barber from Audiology Associates. Thank you very much for watching our earwax removal and skin peel today. What you can see here, this patient's got some very deep-seated wax. They've actually used a self-syringing kit, which is something you can get over the counter in most pharmacies. But unfortunately what it's done is it's pushed the wax very deep. So what we're just doing here is removing some of this outer sticky portion of wax here before we attempt to get that deeper section that's actually pressed against the eardrum. So this patient was feeling a bit of discomfort, and the hearing was vastly reduced as well. Because if you look at this, we're just going to slow this down a little bit in a second. Watch how this peels away from the eardrum. So you've got to be really careful. Normally, if we're peeling something off the eardrum, we would normally go in with the fine end, but I could see it was staying in quite a solid plate. So what we had to do was use the standard size ulnar tube and just hover just away from the eardrum, which will then drew that wax towards the drum. I'll show you why you've got to be careful in a second, but we're just going to work on this top section here. Very slowly working down. You can see as it peels away there, see that whole section just pull away there. We're going to switch now to the fine end because we've got this very thin layer here. Now this looks to be, it doesn't look like wax, it looks like discolored dry skin. Watch what happens. Oh, sorry, I need to point this bit out. See this little lump on the corner here? This is a bit like a skin tag inside the ear canal, a little bump on the floor. It's not the osteoma you saw in the last video, but just that little bit of a skin tag. I've forgotten I put it in there to point that out. Watch as we get up to this last section. It's just creeping down towards it. Very gently, just resting against the outside edge. We don't want to put too much pressure on this. It's gonna be pushing really close to the eardrum. There we are. See, it's starting to lift, but see how the eardrum is just starting to flex a little bit? There we are, we've got it, but watch as this peels away. Look at the dry skin peeling away. There you go, from the outer section of the eardrum as well. Look at all that coming away. It's just slowly, look at that, drawing down. There we are, and just let that little last little bit flick up. So you can see how this would have been affecting the hearing. It really would have dampened that movement to the eardrum. I mean, it looks really inconsequential there. We've got 9/16 of an inch, just under 1.5 centimeters. So it doesn't look like a tremendous amount of wax, but it was having such a detrimental effect on that hearing as well. Stay tuned for the second patient. This is the one here. This patient is a regular of ours. They come through about every 6 months. They suffer with an issue where the skin that migrates down the ear canal gets to the outer third of the canal and then separates. So what you end up with is this sleeve of dry, sticky skin that actually ends up collapsing in on itself under its own weight and sticking together. So it forms like a pocket or at the end of a sock or something like that. So you've got the sleeve at the end and it all just collapses down and sticks together. So you can see we're just getting a grip on that outer section. But as we're pulling this, look, you can see how it's tearing away from the skin behind. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to stop here. You can actually see the outline of the skin, and that section in the middle is the hole where the canal is. So you can see how close together they are and how the whole sleeve of skin around the outer part of the ear canal comes away in one sheet, and that's when it sticks together. So this patient suffers a little bit with intermittent tinnitus as well. Having this in their ear and blocking it up really causes their tinnitus to ramp up. It gets really noisy in there. So this is why they come through every 6 months for us to clear this away. We've got to be careful here as well. You'll notice that when I'm peeling the skin away, I tend to peel downwards with this particular condition. Only because if you're lifting the skin and try to peel it down the canal, what you get then is it can actually cause like a skin pull, which will carry on along the canal wall. So you end up with this, what starts as a very small piece, actually taking quite a lot of skin away, and you could run the risk of bleeding. So I was a little bit more cautious with this type of skin pull. So we've got the crocodile forceps in here now to get a good grip on this section. This is taking this whole front section away now. There we go. Oh, if you are enjoying the videos, guys, I keep forgetting to do this. If you don't mind liking and subscribing to the channel, that would be absolutely fantastic. I also caused some trouble by saying hello to one specific country yesterday. I knew what would happen. Everybody wants to shout out. So hello to our viewers from Australia. Hello to our viewers from the UK. hello in Mexico, and hello in Belgium. Because I read through everyone's comments and everyone asked us for a shout out. So I've just given a shout out of 4 countries there. So looking now, we can see we've got this last little bit of sticky wax on this left-hand side canal wall here. I'm just going to slowly peel that away. There we are. Just starting to come away nicely now. There we go. Oh, I haven't forgotten to put my glasses on, by the way. If I drop them down, you can just see massive reflection, so it's a bit difficult to, it's a bit too distracting. So there we are. That last little bit's come away. Now you can actually see where the skin is lifting from that one particular portion. Now if I go pulling along that, it's just going to sort of tear that all the way down, and we're going to have a lot of run the risk of a lot of bleeding in there. So I'd rather leave it where it is. We know this patient's going to be back in 6 months anyway, and we'll just clear this out again. Now we've got a very similar story on this side. So I've started with the crocodile forceps because I'm hoping that was a little bit more solid on the outer section, but as you can see, it's still quite soft. So we're just going to slowly work this out. So I'm trying to feed as much of this into the end of the Zollner tube, which is going to keep a good grip, because don't forget, this skin is going to be tough. It hardens as it separates out from the layer underneath. So we've got to get a really, really good suction grip on here. We saw if we try and use the crocodile forceps, it's just going to tear. If we try and use a Jobson horn, it's just going to scrape along that canal wall, and that's going to be really uncomfortable. So we've pulled it forwards now. We've got hold of a deeper section. There we are. We've taken a nice big chunk. See how it kind of tears. It rips like tearing paper as you take it away from the outside edge. Good grip again now. I use a lot of wiggling motion just to free this up as it's coming back towards the camera here. We're still working on the outer part of the ear canal, just slowing this down. As we pull, you can see what I mean now about that wiggling motion. It just frees up and feeds this skin tissue out of the canal. Got it so far now, but it's actually got stuck. We ran out of sort of space to pull it out, so we're just going to aim slightly further back. Good grip, good wide grip with the forceps there, holding on to it. Look how this comes away. There, look at that peel away, and that's still connected to the piece behind. There you go. It just tore as it came away, so there's actually still more in there. So you've seen us take long skin ribbons away. This would have been very similar to that coming away if it hadn't torn halfway through. So I'm just going to get a grip on the neck section, slowing this down. Watch what happens when we lift. It's just come away. Must be the next bit. But when we get hold of this neck section now, I'm going to carry on with the forceps, just going to grip on the side, slowing this down again. You can actually see the lift on this one. Look there, see it lift that rear section. Watch what happens when you get hold of this piece now. You get a much better idea of how this peels away from the canal wall, because look how far back that goes. You can actually see the dry skin lifting from further in, which is why I use that gentle rocking motion rather than a lifting up motion, because the other thing that can happen is you can actually stick that to the roof and it becomes really awkward. Look how far back it peels. Can you see that coming away from the canal walls? All this dry, very thin skin layer material all working its way out. There we go. And out that comes. We take a look now back into the ear canal here. There's a little sticky bit of wax stuck to the attic, so stuck to the top portion of the ear canal there. So we're just going to pull that down. There we go. Now you can see, you can't really see much in the way of that portion there. We'll get a look, you can see underneath where it's all come away, that dry skin. We've still got some up the top. Watch what happens when you tilt the patient over. See how the view drastically changes? You get this much, much better view. So if I've ever got to clean that top portion, I always get the patient to tilt their head away from me. Eardrum looks lovely and healthy. Look at that, all those really thin sort of bits of skin, you know, it's really dry, and the consistency of that, it would be really tacky to the touch, but the consistency of that is almost like a very thin kind of leather, so really tough stuff, or like a tough paper. Sorry, I'll switch back to the normal view a sec. There we go. Right, okay. So yeah, you do sometimes get these skin issues. There's not a great deal you can do to prevent them. You could look at using a bit of olive oil just to moisturize them, but if you've got somebody that is prone to these kind of skin problems where you get this detachment, because don't forget that the skin moves a certain way in the canal. It moves sort of laterally. It comes away along the canal like this little conveyor belt. and you've got these layers of skin moving outwards. And what's happening here is, if you imagine you've got, say for argument's sake, we've got the 2 layers here. As it moves, that top layer just separates out, and that's what's happening. But you imagine that's okay if it happens. Well, it's better in a way if it happens just in one portion of the canal. But this poor patient had that going in a circular motion, so the whole outside edge was peeling away. So you end up with this layer that looks like this, and as it gets to the outer part of the ear canal, it kind of collapses under its own weight because it's now detached from the layer underneath. And then because it's so sticky, as it touches, it sticks. So what you end up with then is it really blocked up. It's the equivalent of having like a really large piece of wax blocking in there, because that sound can't get through. Drops are not going to soften it either, because if you think olive oil is naturally going to kind of moisturize and soften your skin, it's just going to soften that skin and make it even stickier. So you can throw all the drops in the world of that. You can throw peroxide, bicarb, you can throw olive oil in there, and it's not going to make a blind bit of difference, because it's not going to really kind of break that skin down, because it's not designed to break skin down. So you just saw all that coming away. It does take a bit of work to get it out effectively, but yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Today is Friday. I just forgot what day it was today. So today is Friday. So I shall see you again on Monday. If you've got any questions, if you want to leave comments below, you're more than welcome to. I am reading every comment. I'm trying to like as many as I possibly can. I'm responding to as many as I can. So bear with me. There's a lot of comments to get through. So if I don't answer yours, try posting it in the next video, and I promise I will try and see it. But as always, guys, take care of yourselves and one another, and I shall see you again on Monday.